Hello guys. Um Today I'm gonna talk about Tell the World, which is a movie about the history of the Adventist Church. Um, Pretty interesting. You learn a lot from it. You can learn a lot. It's a great way to learn about the Great Disappointment, which was in 1844. The backing around and the logic behind the Millerite movement, what happened, gives a great perspective on what people were thinking at the time, what was going on, how this movement started, how it hit off, how it became great, how it grew into such a great disappointment at the end. Um, you you see a lot of William Miller's work. You can they really make it a fun experience in the movie to hear, to watch, to understand. For the most part, it is heavily based. It's heavily uh, uses the story of William Miller for like most of the movie, and then towards the end it starts talking a little bit about the Adventist Church, which comes out of the Adventist. It comes out of the Millerite movement after the Great Disappointment, with people who pray and start asking God what happened, what was the purpose of this, what was going on, and then they understand and they find out that it wasn't actually Jesus coming or Jesus' second coming, but him moving from the holy to the most holy place in the heavenly sanctuary, and that's where what we as Adventists believe, and that's what goes to show in the movie. And we also do see a little bit of Ellen G. White in there, how she grows up in fear, and then she receives visions, and how the Adventist church essentially begins to form at the beginning of its essentially it's the early days of the Adventist church. Very, very early, and you can see Joseph Bates, uh, Andrew, uh, Ellen G. White, James White, various Adventist characters that played a role in the Adventist church at the time. And yeah, that's what Tell the World is mainly about. It was pretty interesting. I learned quite a bit from it, especially from William Miller's um, how he came to be, how he became famous, what happened, what his work was essentially. I learned from it gave great insight into what he was developing at the time. You also I also learned a couple things about Andrew White. It gives a perspective on what she was living as well. The difficulties she had to go through and other things like that. It also shows some things that people at the time had to go through as they joined the Millerite movement. They got essentially excommunicated from their churches, their denominations, whatever. They just got kicked out and they were hated. They didn't, because they believed this, that Jesus was coming again. I don't know, the people, the leaders of the time of their churches would just kick them out. After the Great Disappointment, they would return to their churches and uh, with anger, bitterness towards Jesus. Some would just altogether leave the belief of Christianity and deny Jesus. But there was the few, as I mentioned earlier, that stuck, and continued to pray, fast, ask God what the meaning of this great disappointment was, and they find out. I find that very interesting. Thank you.